never looked so beautiful.
I'm meteorologist Brittany Merlot. Mostly cloudy but still mild today, making it to the mid-60s with a south breeze around 20 miles per hour. Showers and thunderstorms late this afternoon continue through the evening and even into the overnight. And even more of them return tomorrow afternoon and again in the evening. A few sprinkles could linger early Friday morning before we dry things out and clear things out and warm things up for the weekend. That's the forecast on the mighty 1630 KCJJ. It's 60 degrees at our studios.
And it is Wednesday and it's the noon hour. That means it's time for Senior Talk, which is brought to you by the Solon American Legion, Senior Benefits, and Walden Place Senior Living. And here is your host, Rex Brandstatter.
And good afternoon, everybody. Thank you, Tommy. This is Rex Brandstatter, and it's a wonderful day, and the last day, as a matter of fact. 30 days has September, April, June, and November, I guess, if I remember right. Well, today's the last day of April. Wow. We're slugging right through. We got May on the way, a May Day. Tomorrow would be the day that when I was a kid, we used to make the little baskets and run over and put them on our neighbor kid's door, or girlfriend's door, and that kind of stuff, and knocking and run like hell. Remember doing that? Oh, I don't know if that's still a thing or not. We had May Day cards or something at school. I don't remember now, but kind of a fun day with nothing going on. Next Monday is Cinco de Mayo, so I have to take my wife out for a Mexican dinner somewhere. That's a must at our house. So we got lots of things going on here. So just wanted to say a couple things like that. Well, welcome and greetings right here from Senior Talk. And it's a great day to be here with you. And it's a great day to be a senior, even though it could warm up a little bit. Like the weather lady just said, it's going to warm up for the weekend and be nice. So it's about time. We need some heat, need some sunshine for sure. You know, every day is a great day to be a senior. I hope you feel that way. I hope you're well enough to feel that way and unburdened enough to be happy and cheery and things like that. It's so many challenges as being a senior, especially I think in our age group. But we have to walk through them, folks, and have to do our best. So thanks for taking time out of your busy day here on Senior Talk, and those of you who are seniors, and those of you who are maybe someday gonna be a senior. This could be a great place to pick up some ideas, and I do my best every week to bring important things that might be important to you or someone in your family, or maybe some friends, or your guys down at the coffee shop, or your ladies friends with you, ladies, your friends. You might pick up on something that might help someone that you know and your family, yourselves for sure. And that's what Senior Talk is designed at. I sort of, throw the grenade into the room and see what happens and see where it goes from there. And I hope that I've had many calls from people telling me that they're glad they happened to listen this day or that day and heard about that, and they did take some action on those things. I would also like to take this moment. My good friend Mark Myers passed away, and he was a good friend of mine long time since we were kids. I'm older than he was, but by 7 or 8 years, I think, or 6 or 7 years, and Mark has passed away rather suddenly, rather quickly. How's that sound? Faithful listener to Senior Talk, and I know that he and his wife took advantage of lots of things that we have talked about here, and I know he was always telling me, thank you for reminding me of things like that. So he's gone, my friend Mark Myers. Well, my name is Rex Brandstatter. I'm 75 years old, and I'm a real estate broker, and I meet mostly and talk with and deal with mostly seniors. And I started mostly as seniors in '07, so I've been at it quite a few years. I prefer to deal with seniors. You've been down the road. You've been through the challenges and the high water and the low water, and you're experiencing lots of different things. And I bring that along with me in my career in real estate to you. Been on a million different deals and lots of seniors in different aspects. Not all properties sell in a big hurry like you read in the paper or anything like that. Some of them take a little time. Some of them are investment properties. They take a little time. Some of them ideas you might have to buy something. You can't find what you want. It takes a little time. Our market is active right now. It's very active, and there's still not a lot of stock. There just isn't. So the best thing you can do is not get in a hurry and take your time. The problem with taking your time, if you find one you want to buy, then you got to buy it. That's the deal. But there's no hurry. If you're a senior, you're thinking about selling, thinking about you're going to do a couple years down the road. You're thinking about maybe moving to Florida, or moving to California, moving to Texas or Arizona. You're thinking about selling your home and getting a smaller home here in town, in Iowa, anywhere, make a difference where it is. That's when you have some time on your hands, and that's when I meet with seniors all the time. and I meet with seniors. I meet with you, the senior themselves. I meet with executives of estates. I meet with administrators of estates. Trust departments of banks call me. Attorneys. I deal with sit down with the seniors and their attorney and talk through things and sort of get a plan going, and that's what you should do. So that's the scoop. So thanks for listening in today. So I think maybe it's a great time. I have a senior line. Forgot to mention. You can give me a call at 319-330-5534. 330-5534. Please give me a call. We'll talk about your situation and see what's I can help you. If not, well, I'll tell you. But if I can, I will. If I can't, I'll tell you. So that's the story. Grab yourself a sandwich and an ice-cold root beer right here on Senior Talk, and let's see maybe what we can stir up here. It's certainly nice to have you listen in today, and I think this weekend is going to be worth getting out and getting some sunshine and some heat and just doing some regular senior things. I'm totally positive that a lot of things in my life are going right past me. I can't keep up, nor I probably don't try as much anymore. With all the computer stuff and all the emails, I'm okay with the text. It's a challenge. I'm not very on the computer. I can do the things that I need to do. On my phone, I think between my phone and my computer, I probably use 10% of what they can do, maybe 20. I don't know. Sometimes I just monkey around with my phone and I push this button and go there and go, I didn't even know it could do that. I had no idea. Somebody showed me something the other day and I went, wow. I had no clue. Something I always thought about, but he showed me how to do it in about 2 seconds. But I don't do it that often. So just suffice to say, as a senior, lots of things are going past me. I guess that's not an apology. It's just the way life is. You kind of think back that maybe things went past our folks, our grandparents too. We're going to talk about something that might have gone past a lot of people here in a little bit. So I talk with several seniors each week, and the issues are never ending. I can tell you that we're all different, and everyone has different challenges. That would be different challenges in health and the family and financial ideas and or planning, doctor appointments and family challenges. And we have to manage those and be on top of them ourselves. And therein lies the challenge. The number one challenge is sometimes you don't have anybody to ask questions. You don't have anybody to bounce anything off. Maybe you live by yourself. Maybe you're a private. You just don't talk about things like that. That's certainly your prerogative. But sometimes it's hard to manage these things yourself. So if you ever need to talk to somebody, I don't mean disinterested third party, but I don't know your scoop, but maybe I can help you based on the experiences I've had. So feel free to give me a call. So I had the opportunity to renew a CD last week, and it wasn't the rate that I wanted for sure. Well, they never pay what you want. But I took the rate that I thought was best for my wife and I, and with this one. And the only guarantee about a CD is it's not going to go down. It's not going to go up, but it's not going to go down. And as you get older, it's kind of hard to think that some of your things went down. Now I have the other investments too that are in mutual funds, and you read those things. Some days are up, and the next month they're down. They're up and down. And if you're in that business, if you're a financial advisor, they tell you it's the long run. It's the long haul. Well, when you're 75, how much of a long haul do we have left? I don't know. You don't know. None of us know. So you get a little more conservative with your investments. Now, speaking of that, if you are a self-guided investment opportunity or investment advisor, for the most part, I am too. You should really, really start to pay some attention. I have been to a financial planner for my wife and I. We sat down with one and came up with some really good ideas, and they put it all in a big packet for it, and we're working on that package. So seeking out a financial advisor, especially if you're younger, especially if you're not quite a senior or maybe just after 50, between 50 and 60 for sure, or younger, you should seek a financial advisor. A CFP, certified or financial planner, is a good place to look. Someone who's has taken advanced courses and things like that, and sit down, because you're monkeying around with your own money. And who better to run your money than you, maybe with a little bit of advice. So that's what I think you should at least consider. I've also read that a hearing impairment is the number one health elective that seniors delay in addressing. How about you? Are you delaying that? Your family members saying, well, Grandpa can't hear. Right? Fred, I told you that. We were just talking about that. Aren't you listening? Have you ever heard that? ever been out with a group? I was with a group of people last weekend, and we were talking about things, and the guy sitting next to me just barged right in and talked about something else, and everybody looked at him like, you're crazy. Well, he didn't pay any attention. We were all talking about something, and he just barged right in talking about something else. So I said, well, we're talking about, this is what we were talking about. Oh, I didn't hear you. Well, obviously. So the bottom line is maybe he could use maybe a little hearing help there. So that could be you, folks. And I can tell you this right now is that it takes a lot of yelling at people, and figuratively and literally. And maybe the family finally says, Mary, you don't hear. We've got to do something. We need to go see a hearing clinic. And it is what it is, and go to it. You'll make your life a lot easier for sure. But it is the number one impairment. The hearing impairment is the number one elective that people, you'll go fix your eyesight, go see about that. You got a foot problem, you all beat it to the foot doctor, but you won't go to the hearing clinic. I don't get it. So go ahead and give me a call. I'll give you the name of a couple of good ones. That's for sure. A senior man tells me this. He said, I have totally put off working on my house for the last 5 or 6 years, and I'm not proud of it. I said, well, good for you. Good, that's a good call. He said, all of a sudden, my house, it looks like it's the worst house on the block, bar none. So he must have been not taking care of it for more than 5 or 6 years. He said, it hit me a month ago that my house doesn't look good. So now, he says, I just had new shingles and new softening put on. There's more work coming, and it's going to be done. I'm going to really, really go to it. And then he said this. What was I thinking? And I said, well, I was going to ask you that, too. I know you've known you for a long time, and I know your house doesn't look like the sharpest knife in the drawer when I drive by, but it's none of my business, so I don't say anything. But he said, you know, one day I have heard you say, he wasn't attributing this to senior talk, and I don't mean to insinuate that he was, but he said, I was just sitting there looking at my house from across the street, like I recommended you folks do anyhow. And he said, I just realized what's going on here. My house is run down. It needs this. It needs that. And he said, for God's sakes, I've got the money. I can do these things. So, you know, he says, I'm such more. We're not done yet, but he says, I'm more prouder of the house. More fun to come home. So I said, good for you. So there was a guy who tired of his house looking like kind of run down. So, well, what is a land scam? SCAM. What is a land scam? Well, a land scam is not something that takes place out in Arizona or Colorado or Wyoming. It can happen right here in Johnson County, and it has, and it will. And seniors are susceptible to bad guys, and that's the true story. Mostly the bad guys are after, they seem to be picking so far, in my experience and in my knowledge, on sales of bare lots or land. Bare lots and or land is what they, because it's kind of out of sight, out of mind. You might, if you own one, you might not be checking on it and things like that. And I can tell you many stories of local seniors and local realtors are telling right now, and it is happening right here in town. Normally the bad guys are after your retirement savings, your cash, your contact information, again, your bank accounts. But now they've branched out into land. Yeah, a lot. Land. What is right? One senior that I know personally recently lost 90% of their retirement savings via a telephone scam. Gave out way too much information. The people said they were from the investment company, blah, blah, blah. And she put up the good fight, not knowing what she was in one. And 90% of her retirement from her many, many years on the job, her retirement is gone. G-O-N, gone, my dad would say. And here's my story on the land scam. Well, a friend of mine stopped in to see her 90-year-old mother one day last summer and noticed a young couple looking at the trees and the bushes on the lot that's next to Mom's house, which Mom's also owns. And she got out of the car and said, well, what are you doing? What are you looking at? And they said, well, this couple said, we're walking the lot and looking at the trees and the flowers on our new lot that we're buying. My friend said, what? This lot? Oh, yeah. She said, well, I don't think so. And my mom owns the lot, and it's not for sale. It's never have been for sale. It's not going to be for sale in the foreseeable future. What? So the infuriated family member called me, and the detective work began. And the lot was actually listed and was listed by a realtor and right here on the MLS. Well, how could it be on the MLS with a realtor if the lady, the owner, didn't sign it? Well, can you say online computers? All right. When I saw it hit the market, the price was pretty low, and I was wondering, why are they doing that? The sign of the agent and the company in the yard was wrong. There was a company there, but the agent's name that was on a what we call a writer on top, was different. I looked her up. She did not work at that company. So somebody here in town was in on this deal. I guarantee you that right now. Didn't have to be somebody from India or Pakistan or anywhere like that. Somebody had to go put that sign in the ground. So it was the local real estate agent, not knowing that they were being scammed as well. So it was all done online. So I called the agent and advised her that what was going on. She said, well, do you know the seller? No. Just online. She didn't know actually who owned it. She took the call from someone online who said they were the owner, and she signed up, sent all the listing papers and all the papers to be that, sent them to them online. They signed online, used the owner's name, the real owner's the property, who lady lived next door. They scammed her signature online, this is the AI. I still call it A1, sorry. AI. Do that. It was all a house of cards. So here's this young couple. They saw the lot for sale. They go online. The agent said, yep. Type up an offer. They made an offer. The agent submitted it online to the fake seller, scam seller. The scam seller signed it, and these people thought they had a deal. They gave, I think, $1,000 earnest money down. Well, guess what? This lot was priced about $20,000 or $30,000 less than it was, because they wanted to sell it, get it closed fast, so the bad guys could ride off into the sunset with the money. Well, we put a kibosh to that. That agent admitted that she'd never met the sellers, did everything online, never seen them, never talked to them, thought she was talking to them, but never did any business with them at all. Had no clue. Never even met the buyers. Ha-ha! House of cards, for sure. Well, we saved the day for the buyers, and I don't know who they were. I wouldn't know if they walked in the door, but we got that thing. Their agent avoided that deal, and now they might have lost their $1,000 in the trust account. Most likely they did not in this case. So this young couple got out of there with the skin of their pants or teeth or whatever, and the seller is now over it. Seller brought me a 6-pack of root beer. In this case, it was not root beer; it was a real beer, and told me thank you for my efforts on that. I kind of helped them stave off a real tragedy. So what would have happened? It would have transferred, and the new people would have gone down there and showed up one day to dig a hole, and the real owners would have gone, "What are you doing?" And they'd had to get a lawyer and fight this thing. It was an online scam. Bottom line is the buyers would have paid money to the bad guys. The bad guys would have got out of there $50,000 or $60,000, and now the seller, who's innocent bystander, has to go get a lawyer and pick a number out, $5,000 or $10,000. Wow, that's what's going on. So pay attention. So what can you do? Well, Rex, what can we do? I honestly can't answer that. You need to check on things. I would suggest you talk to your attorney for sure on how to, I don't know, protect it. I'm going to give you something that might be of help here to you. I might suggest that the bad guys are just looking for the owners of the property, Mabel Jones or Bob Smith or Mabel and Bob Smith type of thing. I'm thinking, this is just my thought, that maybe if that lot was in a revocable trust, you could own that lot, put your real estate in a revocable trust. They might not monkey with a revocable trust. They're a little harder to deal with. You got to get trustee signatures. It's more of a big deal. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. Or maybe put it in an LLC, a limited liability corporation. Maybe you could start one of those, easy to start, easy to hold on to. It limits your liability. There you go, limited liability corporation. And another heads upper, don't talk to anyone on the phone from your bank, from Medicare, your insurance, or your investment people unless you know their voice and recognize it. Call them back. Do not give them any information. This is Scam City, folks. They're out there. And the bad guys, they could care less that they stole it, walked off with my lady friends that we know, walked off with their retirement. The bad guys don't give a hoot. In fact, they got the check. They probably went down and had a big party with it, you know. Pretty darn sad in this world. They ought to take those guys. Well, that's where... bear with me, folks. That's where capital punishment should be an oak tree and a rope for guys who do that. Amen to that. Well, I've got an announcement here for you about the Iowa branch of the AARP. The Iowa branch of the AARP, they're going to have a Stop the Scammers seminar tomorrow for free, and you can go. It's in North Liberty Community Center, which is right next to the swimming pool at 520 West Cherry. It's Thursday from 9 to 10:30 a.m. this Thursday, tomorrow. Stop the Scammers Fraud Education. No, I've been to these. And they bring in insurance people. They might have a real estate, might have an attorney. I think they did last time. And they probably have a banker there. They'll talk to you about some of the scammers, all right, on what they do, what to look out for. They'll have slides and handouts. So you can register online, iowafraudfighters.gov, or just show up there, and they won't turn you down. They'll get you in the door, and it's free. So it's tomorrow morning at 9 to 10:30 in North Liberty, at the North Liberty Community Center, which is 520 West Cherry, which is right next to the swimming pool on Cherry Street there. You can put lots of parking there. Go on in there and have at it, and hope you learn some things. That is for sure. That'd be a really, really good way. As seniors, you're looking for something to do, and you might learn something there. Absolutely for sure. And the other important item, maybe it's not as important as that, but the weekend of May the 12th, so that'd be starting May 12th, be starting a week from Monday, so not this next week, but the week after, is Mayor's Cleanup Day in Coralville. And it's a good old heads up. If you live in Coralville, start getting your stuff you don't need, don't want, get it out there the curb, and it will go bye-bye. I guarantee it. Have a lawnmower or a barbecue, something you don't want, you don't need. The local guys who do that, before the garbage guys get there, the maintenance, the city guys get there, you'll have some local guys go by. They might pick up, you put out a few boards out there, an old shovel. They might pick those up for themselves. Who cares? It's gone. You put it at the curb for a reason. Get rid of it. Go to it. That's a wonderful thing about all these things. So it's cleanup week. Now, they don't take tires. They don't take sheetrock. You're remodeling the garage. They don't want things like that. They won't take them. They'll just drive right by, and you'll be stuck with them. And now what do we do? But, maybe you've got some anything you can think of. Put it out there between the curb and the sidewalk and on your garbage day. So if you're out there, our garbage day is Tuesday, you can take it out after midnight. Not that any seniors are up after midnight, but you could take it out there at 4 o'clock the day before. Maybe the local guys will go by and pick it up and sift through it, so to speak. Hope they don't make a mess. They usually don't. There's an old chair out there. They might just pick it up and haul it away. And remember now, who cares? Go out and help them load it. I've done that. There you go, guys. That's really a good love seat. Go to it and help them pick it up, throw it in their pickup truck. It's time to move on. Time to do something else. We just have to kind of sit back, and all these things we talk about, you have to realize that there's really nobody there to help you. If you're, we'll say a couple, I don't know, a couple, there's safety in numbers there, and you can, one of you can say, let's get rid of this or let's get rid of that, and away you go. So that's the thing to do. I've got a little information here. So friends of ours are decided to take a European vacation, and they're over there right now. They're in Portugal. Anything like that ring a bell? What's going on over in Portugal right now? Spain and Portugal right now? The electricity all went out. So they're over there on a vacation, and the electricity's out. They're called the Iberian Peninsula over there. I think 60% of the country or more. They don't know why. It's not a bunch of bad guys blow something up. It's just a big line, some sort of a main electrical line from Spain to some big plant in Portugal went out. And so now if you think that through, if you think all that through, you can't use a credit card because it's the computers are down. You can't go to the grocery store and buy anything because they all of them use electric cash registers. You can't go to a restaurant. He said he was on the line this morning saying, my friend, he says, we'll call him Jim. He just said, I'm glad we took some flashlights in our luggage because we've sure needed them to get to the hotel, check into our room, stuff like that. He said, what a deal. They said, we went out for candlelight dinner. Went out for dinner. It was candlelight. We had no other. He said, I looked like a real smart buy my wife a candlelight dinner. He said, well, that's all they had was candles. So he said, we go to Europe once in our lifetime and the electricity goes out. That's not good. They'll have more stories and man in the moon. Well, let's talk a little bit here about some automobiles. Last week was the first monthly last Friday for the Class C Chassis car show, and it was a little nippy, a little weather. I didn't take my car out, but they did have 50 or 60 cars, so more power to them. But Iowa City's first auto show was in the spring. Actually, it was in April and May, or this time in 1916. So 109 years ago. 109 years ago, for God's sakes. Actually, they actually charged admission to get in, to talk about buying an automobile. Wow. So you had to pay to get in to go to the car show. Well, not only did they charge admission, but the public was glad to pay. What? Judging by the large crowds that attended, they were all glad to pay. After all, the automobile was something brand new and was changing the lifestyle of time. Now, remember, this is 1916. Cars were just getting here, by the way. The first show in Iowa City was 60 different automobiles by 37 different makers, was held in a huge circus tent pitched on Clinton Street, extending from Iowa Avenue to Jefferson. So I'm going to give you right where this was. This would be right in front of Iowa Book and Supply, on the north side of that intersection, north up to Jefferson Street. So they had a circus tent. That would have been a great big huge circus tent. That's probably that's probably not 100 yards. They're probably maybe 250 feet, maybe, along in there. So the tent was, there you go, the tent was 300 feet long with the largest display in Iowa City, and it was most impressive. Admission was 25 cents, which was, by today's inflation standards, seems pretty minimal, but when compared to the admission to a motion picture theaters at that time of 10 cents, kind of puts the price on focus of what you could gain from what your money spent. The show lasted for 4 days, April 19th through 22, and Wednesday through Saturday, the week before Easter. Friday, which was Good Friday, was designated as Iowa City Day, and Saturday is Johnson County Day, when the farmers came in large numbers. Well, farmers were the big automobile buyers of the era. Why would they be the big? Well, because now they could get to town rather than riding a horse or a wagon or buggy. They could get one of these newfangled things. At that time, the rural population was much greater than the urban, and the farmer, by his location, stood to profit greatly from buying an automobile. Entrance to the show tent was at the Iowa Avenue, so you could walk out of what is actually St. James Hotel at the time, right on that corner. Iowa Book, you'd walk right into it. There was some apprehension about the tent and all the new cars when the then 4-story St. James Hotel, which was on the site of Iowa Book and Supply, it burned down to the ground on Friday morning. Huge, huge fire. Now, in 1916, you know what they could do with the fire. They could stand back and watch. Iowa City did have a fire department, and I don't know the exact date, but Snowball and Highball, the horses, were there. I don't know if they were there at that time. I don't know the date, but that was the fire prevention at the time. So it burned to the ground, and that's well documented in history. All right. The special automobile section, anyhow, they thought that fire might, the sparks might go start the tent on fire and stuff like that, but nothing happened. So a special automobile section of the Iowa City Press-Citizen carried a complete list of all the exhibitors and cars. Each dealer also carried his own display advertisement in this section, stressing the virtue of the automobile and quoting prices. Wow, all right. Prices ranged from $390 for a 4-cylinder Model T to $2,500 for the 7-passenger 6-cylinder Studebaker limousine from the Studebaker brothers. And I think Studebakers were made in where Notre Dame is from, Indiana. There you go. The price of the Cadillac was not listed, but undoubtedly was the highest price. The big seller of the day was the Ford 4-cylinder Model T touring car, selling for $440 in Detroit. The Fords were referred to as Tin Lizzies and were the brunt of countless jokes. People would say things like, have you heard the Tin Lizzie joke lately? Then they were just never ending. That was a big deal at the time, Tin Lizzie joke. Other automobiles were all in a different class from the Fords and sold separately at higher prices. The Studebaker touring car was $1,085. The Chalmers 6-cylinder for $1,090. A Buick Roadster was $950 to $1,400. The King 6-cylinder was 60 horsepower, $1,350. The Willys $1,125, and the Valley, manufactured in Moline, Illinois. That is true. You want to see a Valley? Want to see a Valley? Go out to the Auto Museum, the Antique Auto Museum out in Coralville. They've got lots and lots of these old cars out there. They do have a Valley. It was made down in Moline, for guys. 6-cylinder, $1,065. Of the 37 makes of automobiles, now 37 makes, not models, 37 makes. At the first show, 60, only 5 are still manufactured. Cadillac, Chevrolet, Ford, Dodge, and Willys Jeep. Ha ha! Isn't that something? The people who used their cars in the winter kept the side curtains on as protection against the wind and cold. And my dad told me he was born in 1919, and they had a car in the early 20s. The Brandstatter family in Coralville had a car in the early 20s with the no windows, had side curtains, and then when they went somewhere, they had a hot brick is what they used in the back seat. Everybody had a hot brick. They sat on it or had it next to them. Put my dad and his 3 sisters had to put their 2 sisters, the older ones, had to put their feet on a brick. There was a special word for that brick, they call it, and I don't remember what it is. It's kind of a different name, muffin or something like that. It was a big deal. Now, let's see if you recognize this name. The Sidwell Motor Company of Iowa City. Sidwell Motor Company. What is Sidwell known for later on? You bet, ice cream. The Sidwell Motor Company agent for the Buick stressed at length. Here's a salesman. The advantages of their overhead valve were all parts were open and easily repaired. Yeah, you'd raise up that articulating hood, which opened from side to side, and there'd be the engine right there. No frills, no nothing. Just easy to work on. No cars today use overhead valve. Now, overhead cam, but anyhow, that was the big deal. While the automobile was not new at the time, it was not understood by most people. So there was a lot of natural curiosity about the horseless carriage. Wow. Salesmen at different dealer booths devoted much of their time explaining the intricacies of this newfangled automobile. Wow. Strangely, none of the advertising mentioned whether the cars had self-starters, but it was about this time they were coming onto the scene. The Ford Model T had a crank. And get out and crank. That would be something I would probably ask my wife to do. While I sat in the car, I'd have her get out and crank. That would all cars came with the crank on the front, even after self-starters, just in case. Wow. So, I mean, they hadn't gotten away from that at all. If you had the knack of getting a good spin with the crank, you were considered a pretty darn lucky for sure. Interesting story, and that was right on Iowa Avenue. All right. Hardly anybody recalls the once popular Valley automobile, but many people know the Plantation Supper Club in Moline. Do you have ever heard? I've been there. You've been to the? I don't know. I didn't know it was ostentatious. Sort of a lark type of thing. The Plantation Supper Club in Moline, which originally had been the huge mansion of the Valley family, high on the bluff overlooking the Rock River Valley. So there's a little history for you right there. If you've gone, and I don't know if the Plantation Supper Club is still going. I haven't heard of it lately, but we were there 20 years ago, I would say. A man in Iowa City named Joe O'Leary, Irishman, had the Valley Agency in Iowa City, the first floor of the Iowa apartment building. Do you know where the Iowa apartment buildings are? Washington Street and Lynn Street, the southeast corner. Immediately south of the old post office, all right? Diagonally across from the old city hall. That's where the first Valley Agency was. And they sold 28 Valley automobiles all at the same time. They all had a big deal, all right? As a big promotion, O'Leary and the Valley Company put together a special Rock Island train from Iowa City to Davenport for 175 guests. The train left at 9 a.m. in Iowa City and got to Davenport. They were picked up by a number of Valley automobiles from the factory and driven to Moline with the big banners proclaiming the event, followed by a big band on the flatbed truck. Folks, the automobile was coming to town, and people were absolutely, why wouldn't they, absolutely infatuated with it. Just like the airplanes got here in 1912 and 1913, here came the automobile. A really, really good place, like I'm telling you, is out there on across from 30 Hop on East 9th Street in Court. We'll go to the Antique Auto Museum, and you can see the Johnson County Historical Society Museum there, too. For $10, you get to see 2 museums, and trust me, you will have a good time. If you're into cars at all, matter of fact, I'll make you a deal. At my office, here's what I can do for you. In my office, I have some free passes to go there. And I think I've got 6 or 8. I don't remember 8 or 9 of them, something like that. If you would give me a call, 319-330-5534, and tell me you want some of those, I'll mail them to you. Give me your name and address. I'll spend the 74 cents or 70 for a first-class stamp, for God's sakes. I'm not going to bug you about anything. I don't do that. I'll just send you can go down there and see those museums on. They gave them to me, and I'm supposed to pass them out. So let's do that. You can get in those museums. You've always wanted to go to the car museum. Now's your big chance. The Johns County Historical Society got some way neat things, all pertaining to history of Johnson County. Outstanding location. So, well, none of us ever know about our tenure here on planet Earth. No guarantees were ever granted, ever will be, ever. Like my friend Mark, he was feeling good one day, and 3 days later, he's gone. So knowing that, as seniors, we are headed down the back stretch. I advise the following mindset, and that is do all you can while you can. And you don't have to sit around thinking about all these types of things, but just knowing that, we are coming around the fourth turn down there, and we don't know how long we're going to get to run this race, so do all you can while you can. And the other day I was walking into Hy-Vee, and I looked down there, and there was a penny. So did I pick it up? Yes, I did. And I put it in my big jar at home, because later on I'll roll a coin. It'll be in that collection, I guess, call it. Who would bend over to pick up a penny? Well, I do. I always did, always would. Well, later that morning I saw a brown coin picked up. It was a quarter. So I had a big day, made 26 cents, if nothing else, the other day. So do what you can while you can. As seniors, sometimes you don't want to bend over because you don't know if you can get back up. That's one thing we seniors aren't too good at, that's for sure. So cheer on these Hawkeyes, the baseball team, and whoever else is out there right now. School year's about over. About 3 more weeks or so, maybe a month, the students are being, we'll be leaving, and we'll be back to our own here in Iowa City for the summer. So I want you to say that you'll do some of these things, get started on some of these ideas that you heard here, and feel free to give me a call at any time. And as always, thanks for listening. My salute to all veterans for their service and all these wonderful sponsors who take care of Senior Talk. So this is Rex Brandstatter saying I'm glad you listened. There's a big citywide garage sale in Coralville this weekend. Drive around and enjoy yourself. Just get out and enjoy the day. So thanks for listening. We'll see you next time. So long.
Hi, this is Tiffany at Senior Benefits. Are you confused with Medicare questions, anything having to do with Medicare? I take care of all Medicare customers, people under 65. I also do life insurance, long-term care, cancer insurance. I'm here to help you navigate any questions that you may be having or frustrations and anxiety that you may have with Medicare or insurance in general. Give me, Tiffany Rao, a call at 319-631-4795.
Looking for a place with a fun, casual atmosphere? Check out the Solon American Legion. Stop in and grab a drink from their wide selection of beers and wines. And if you're hungry, the Patriot Grill offers pizzas and delicious appetizer baskets ranging from fries and tots to mini tacos and chicken tenders. Check out their Facebook